Hey, welcome to another video, and here we go. We're talking about lines and circles. So I made this sketch on a cover, and you see some lines, some circles, and they look pretty good. The scepter there and the nostrils. And I'll show you how I did these without using rulers or stencils. We're gonna work today with this notepad. It's great as a sketch pad. I got it at the dollar store, actually, at Dollar Tree, and it's great. It's 150 pages, and they're blank, they're not lined, and you see that it folds all the way out. It makes it easy to tear the pages out, but it also makes it easy to draw on the entire thing. So drawing lines and circles just straight like this with hard lines, it's very difficult to get them to look right. It's going to look very sloppy. But using a hard edge to draw lines, it can look very stiff. And if you need to make a really thick line, it's very difficult to get it right using a straight edge. So I'm going to show you how I do it so they look more organic. I think it looks much better. And the best way to do it, you start with very light lines. So I'm using here an HB pencil, and notice that I don't do one long straight line. I do many tiny lines, because the best way to get a straight line or even a straight circle or a perfect circle or more or less perfect is to do a bunch of little lines, and then when you stand back it looks like one line that is straight or a circle that is perfectly round. So if you notice the line on the left there, it looks pretty straight. The one on the right took several more lines. You don't always get it right the first time, and you'll see how I fix that. The circle, same thing. You start with very light lines, and you see it's not perfect there, but as you continue to work it, you find where it is imperfect, and you add more lines around it. Eventually, you'll get it so it looks pretty darn close to right, and it doesn't look as stiff as using a stencil. Sometimes you need it, like if you're doing architecture or something like that, architecture drawings, plans, things like that. Of course you need a straight edge or a stencil for the circles or protractor, whatever. But doing an actual sketch, well, first, to get a circle the right size, even with a tool, it sometimes looks weird if the, like in the dog I showed you in the beginning of this video, the face is at an angle. You need to make an oval, and to get it right, it's going to take you probably just as long as it took me to make this circle. That looks pretty good. Or this line on the left here. Now I'm making this into a bat hitting the ball, so I'm adding some small details here, and I'm still working on this line on the right, so it's still not right. And you may just feel like, oh man, it's a lot of work to draw these lines and just to get a line that I could just make with a straight edge. But trust me, if you make, for example, a drawing like that dog, and then you do it in this way, but the straight edges and the circles, you use a tool, it looks off. You will notice that the whole drawing was made organically, but these little parts like the scepter and the eyes were done with a tool. It stands out, you can tell, and to me that does not look good. Again, art should not be perfect to real life. If you wanted that, you take a photograph. When you're talking about art, try to get it as close as possible, but I feel that working organically really works out the best. And again, I don't use a lot of erasers, but if you do have to make really thick lines just to get it right, like I did on that right hand side line, then go ahead and use the eraser. Generally, again, I use the tortillons. Notice I'm using the H side of the tortillon. I label my tortillons H and B on each side for the darker pencils and the lighter pencils, so I don't mix the graphites. Now here I pick up the tortillon and I used the B side by mistake, and notice how dark that came out at the bottom of the bat there. So now I'm flipping it over to the H side and spreading everything out a little bit. So that's why you label the tortillon. You want to make sure you look at it before you pick it up and start using it. Once I get it more or less right, I do the shading with the tortillon, then I'll go back and make the lines with harder pressure. And notice I don't do one straight line because my hands get shaky. I know for a lot of people it does too. So just use your floss to your advantage, and you can see here one more look at this drawing, the scepter lines look pretty straight, so does the little ball at the end cap there of it, and so do the eyes. And as always, if you have questions, hit me up. You can post a comment on this video or send me a direct message, and I'll try to reply as quick as I can. And thank you again. See you on the next one.